Right, it's Mobility Overhaul 85, and today we're going to be working on flexibility only, therefore you don't really need anything other than a mat and yourself and some concentration this morning. As I say, every time we do flexibility, it's about these classes aren't about maintenance. Whenever do we maintain anything in this class or any other class that we do here, we strive to get better. It's developmental stretching. Therefore, you have to try and persuade your brain just that little bit more, that it can go that little bit further in these stretches. The thing that always gets me annoyed is when I'm looking on live and I'm seeing people holding a potentially uncomfortable stretch and they just fidget and fart about. Okay, if you're in and out of this stretch constantly, you're not doing the task at hand. We need to be holding it, and we need to be holding it for long enough to convince our brain that it's okay to go to that range. If you ease in and out constantly, you're not going to do that, okay? It's just not going to work. So please, even if it is uncomfortable, try and strive to push and hold and continue to take it further than when you started the stretch. Happy days, let's get into it. We're going to be working straight away from the top down to the bottom, okay? We've got a lot to get through this morning. So, I'll do the usual. This is a kind of new one, maybe a familiar one, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to make it disappear. I'm going to put it up my back, okay? Now I'll show you. What I want you to do here is to get your arm, put it up your back as far as you can get it, okay? And what I want you to strive to do here is not let your shoulder round. So I don't want you to put it that far up your back that you're sitting like I am now. The idea is you're trying to get it up your back as far as you can while keeping the chest proud and the shoulder blades. Imagine we're trying to keep them pulled together. Now straight away, if there's a lot of tightness in this anterior compartment here, in where the pecs meet the shoulder, right in here, you know, the place we usually smash. In fact, I think we've done it the last class. We get a lot of tightness in there, okay? So what you might feel straight away is a lot of tightness in around the shoulder and chest, and if that's you, that's fine, because that's what we're trying to combat. So I want that arm as high up my back as I can, okay, as if I'm trying to scratch myself in the back of the neck. Chest proud, shoulder blades together, and that's going to encourage a good stretch in there. From here, what I want to do, I've got my right arm up my back, okay, so I'm going to take my head and I'm going to lean it off to the left, just to start with. Now, please, your head may weigh a ton, so don't be encouraged to go like this, okay? Try to keep yourself nice and balanced, nice and neutral, and just simply tilt your head over, and what you'll feel there is you're starting to not only enhance the stretch, but now we're bringing the upper traps into the stretch here, so we're going to get a good stretch in the neck. Apologise for the noise, but the building's blowing down round about us. Okay. You'll see bricks and stuff flying all over the shop in a minute. So I'm good job. I say it every time. A good job I don't do yoga in here. So I'm going to keep myself nice and tall, nice and proud, and I'm just going to keep that neck over to the side. And then to enhance the stretch, I'm going to get my other arm, and I'm going to just gradually and gently pull that neck to enhance the stretch. Okay? Now, where you feel it is really dependent on you. Most people are going to feel it in where I first showed you, okay? In at that anterior compartment, right in at the chest, right in at the shoulder joint. You might feel it in at the shoulders themselves. Some people might feel it more on the upper traps, running into the neck. Now, here's me from the side, if you can see me. Look at my posture here. Don't be tempted just to be lazy here and slump down like this, okay? We need to be tall and proud. And I'm not trying to pull my neck at a joint here, okay? So that's us. There we go. You can do it standing, you can do it seated, you can do it on the floor. Chances are, if you're sitting on the floor or you try to sit on the floor and you can't do it sat on the floor because it's that uncomfortable around your lower back, etc., probably a lot of tightness going on in and around there as well. So we'll get to that. So focus on putting yourself in the best position you can to get the best stretch you can out of this one, okay? So a simple way to think about it, relax there. Let the blood flow. Let the blood flow. Get some chest swings on the go. That might be uncomfortable for a lot of people. It is for me, okay? It's certainly an area that's always getting pretty tight, especially in here, okay? And that's contributed from a lot of press-ups, a lot of weight training, but also bad posture, okay? We're all guilty of it. Sitting there for ages, this becomes shortened, it becomes tight. So to then open it up, it becomes effort, okay? So we need to keep working on that. And that's a good one to do as well. I'm always a big fan of throwing things into your day when you can, rather than, you know, oh, I don't have time to do a mobility class. Well, you've probably got time to throw some of these movements into your busy day, and if you're sat at a desk or whatever, just get that arm up behind. It's just like putting yourself in a restrained position, just to get all this tightness and everything secure. Right, next side. So arm, again, I'll show you from the back this time. I'm sitting up nice and tall, nice and proud, and I'm getting my arm and trying to, and if you have to just wriggle your fingers to get it up higher, so be it. but imagine you're trying to scratch yourself on the back of the neck. From here, chest proud, shoulder blades pulled together, and I'm sitting with nice good form, okay? And then straight away, to enhance the stretch, if you're tight, of course, to enhance the stretch in here, that's where we really need to think about pulling the shoulder blades together. And when you pull those shoulder blades together, what will happen is that elbow will go further back and enhance the stretch in here. Okay, so achieve a damn good stretch here first. Once you've got that taken care of and you've got a damn good stretch, then lean the neck off to the side. Okay, and you don't need to wait to put the hand on. If you want to put the hand on to get a better stretch straight away, and I'm really not putting a lot of weight on, okay, so please, you shouldn't feel like you're ripping your neck out of joint. You should just be adding a little bit of weight to help further enhance that stretch. Keep thinking about the stretch. Keep trying to make it better. Check your form, check your posture. Focus on your breathing and try to relax further and deeper into the stretch. That's all we're ever trying to do. Okay, so regardless of what stretch, whatever position we may be folded into this morning, all you're trying to do is try to relax and take the stretch further, okay? And that's where it would be very much easier. I don't even know what I'm going to say now. Complete and utter brain fart. That door rattling just threw me right off. Why are we easing out of it? Why are we easing out of it? Yep, Karen, what are you doing? Let's sort it out. Remember what I said? We hold these stretches, we take it further. You too, Callum, stop farting about. I'm going to call you all out this morning when I can see you. Good? Right, now relax. Okay, and again, chest pump. Chest pump. Get the arms, get the blood flowing. How does that feel for you? Remember, test and adjust. Every little stretch or mobility movement you do, just test and adjust that area. As in, swing the arms about, move around through different ranges of movement, because that might just be the one that's opening up possibilities. It's opening up many possibilities to you. No, what I'm trying to say is, that might just be the one that's helping alleviate any symptoms or anything that you might be dealing with. So if you've got a real tight neck and it's always sore and you're sitting at your desk, that might just be the one that gives you that relief. That might be the one that you need to be doing more of, okay? So it's always a good idea every time you do something, just have a quick move around, see how it feels, see how it's changed you. If it has, great. If it hasn't, doesn't matter. Right, okay, we're going into the chest now itself. So this is one where I prefer to lie down because I can use gravity and I can really relax. You can do this one standing up into a wall, but to some degree you're not relaxed and you can't get as much weight on the arm. So what I encourage, if you're new to it, just lie flat, get the arm out to the side at 90 degrees. You can indeed play around with the angles here, okay, because you're looking for tightness. So if you find that you go up more at 45 degrees and you feel you're attacking a lot more tightness than what you would be out at 90, then that's fine, that's specific to you, okay? But for everybody else, generic, if you're just trying to get into this stretch for the first time, or just do the generic stretch, this is what we're after. Same again, everyone. Chest proud, shoulder blades pulled together, so that when I go into this stretch, when I start rolling into that arm, I don't round my shoulder. Because if there's tightness present, and you go into this with the shoulder rounded, we're not mobilising or stretching myself into the optimal position. So we want that chest nice and proud. And as I roll into my arm, I try to keep my hand flat on the ground. What you'll feel from this one, again, is specific to you. Most people are going to feel a good stretch in at the chest, in at the shoulders, and also if there's a bit of tightness present in the biceps, with that palm flat on the ground, you're going to feel the biceps come in. Now if you can see me, look, it's not comfortable, but my body's in a pretty chilled position here. It's not a stressed position. I'm just rolling, and I've got my legs round to try and encourage a better roll into the arm. If I take my other hand, I can just plant it on the ground, try to use it as a bit of a stabilizer, but if I push into that hand, I can enhance my stretch further, okay? So if I just gradually push away with that other arm, I can get much greater stretch on the arm I'm stretching. So I'm focusing on my breathing, and this is one where if you get the position right, you can get a hell of a good stretch. Remember what I said? You're not easing in and out. You get to the stretch point where you feel you can't go any further, and then for the next minute or two, when we're holding each stretch, you're trying to take it further and further and further. At no point are we easing out, okay? We're only doing each movement once today, so you're trying to make the most out of it. As soon as you get into it, you're building on it. Taking it further. Discomfort, yep. Pain, nah. We shouldn't be getting pain when we're stretching. discomfort. Yep, we're taking the muscles to their end range, trying to take them further. So the body will fight it to some degree, but we shouldn't be getting pain. Pins and needles, normal sometimes, depending where we're working. That's all I would say is don't hold it to the extreme. Self-manage yourself, okay? I'm feeling a wee bit of pins and needles, but then I'm restricting the blood flow to my arm with the angle that I'm rolling into it at, and I'm compressing those blood vessels down. But I'm not holding it to the point where I roll back and my arm's just gone dead. So be sensible, okay? Be sensible. Right, from here I want you to ease out, and as always, you know, just sit up. Quick shake. How does that feel? Oh, aye, that feels like the one. That feels like the one I needed this morning. Or it doesn't, okay? It just feels a wee bit better. It's up to you. So, out to the next side. Straight away, needs no introduction. Basics are chest proud, shoulder blade pulled together. If you're not sure what I mean by that, most people, you shouldn't feel much of you should only feel the front of your shoulder in contact with the ground, okay? You shouldn't be rounding the shoulder to the point where kind of the top of the shoulder's starting to come into it. So before you lie into what am I saying? Before you lie into the arm, roll into the arm, just make sure your shoulder blades are pulled together. And you can't much go wrong, and that's why you see me going slow, because I'm trying to maintain shoulder blades pulled together, chest proud, and if I do that, I feel a hell of a damn good stretch straight away. Now, if you've done Sunday's circuit every minute on the minute, you'll probably find this area, even today, especially today, 2 days on, might still be a bit tender and a bit tight because there was a lot of press-ups, there was a lot of burpees, there was a lot of mountain climbers, a lot of elbow planks, etc. A lot of time on our arms. And as a result, chest, shoulders, triceps, they're all going to be pretty damn tight. Or they might be, and they might not be. So remember what I said, you're trying to take it further and further and further. You shouldn't find yourself lying there, letting your mind drift off into a happy place, okay? That's not what this class is about. This class is about getting better. Therefore, you need to think about what you're doing and you need to be proactively trying to make it better. My word, it is wild. It's wild. I'm surprised there's no nut jobs outside today. There's usually some crazy person out in the back garden this weather trying to do flexibility work. Good. Fantastic, everybody. Ease out of that one. Good. So if you can remember back to our overhead mobility class when we were attacking the chest, basically what you'll realise is, in a nutshell, is we're now doing all the flexibility work on all those areas that we smashed with the foam roller and the ball, etc. So we're working around all the muscle groups that are going to help your posture, help with that overhead mobility and stability. So you'll probably find a lot of tightness in these because we do constantly have to fight bad posture. Now this one, it's another familiar one. You're getting on the knees. It is not the kneeling groin stretch here, everybody. I'm on my knees, I'm walking my hands out, boom, 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 boom. Hands nice and close together here, everybody, and all I want you to do is simply lower yourself down. Now I'm going to show you from the side how that looks also, because then you can see what I'm doing. Usual. What am I thinking about? Shoulder blades pulled together, shoulder blades squeezed and down, chest proud as I go into this movement. And all I'm doing here is just trying to get in a comfortable but good position to get a damn good stretch. So all I'm trying to do is keep my arms straight, keep those elbows locked out, everyone. Push the ground away from you, and then simply use gravity to let you hang there down towards the ground. So I'm trying to get a good stretch. Where you're going to feel this is on those big latissimus dorsi, the big lat muscles, okay? Right outside of your armpit, your upper back muscles, those ones that are always so damn tight that's usually the one that affects you getting your arms up nice and straight above your head. Now this is one you really have to think about. Don't just lie and relax on the ground. You have to keep the arms straight. You have to think about pushing the hands away from the body. It's pretty obvious where you should be feeling this stretch. So this is what I mean by being proactive. It's up to you to try and enhance the stretch in that area. Another way to do it, once you've been holding it a wee while, is try not to move your upper body, but try to walk your fingertips further away from your body. And what that'll help do is really straighten your arms out and really get a better stretch in at those lats. Or you can do it the other way. Pin the hands to the ground and try and pull your body away from the hands. Good. I want you to slowly come out of that one. So most people, I'm confident that most people will feel that stretch straight away in here. And like I say, for most people, that's the contributor to why you can't get your arms past this position without starting to do a bit of that, okay? Get a lot of tightness in there and you'll feel that straight away when you're doing this. Good stretch, important stretch, so much so that we're going to be doing both variations of it. So this is where you're going to need your bench, your coffee table, a chair, a simple raised platform. So please don't feel you have to go and find something specific. A chair will do, a bench will do, a coffee table will do. You can even do the whole Egyptian furniture and get a small child to sit like this. Be creative, okay? Be creative. So I'm here, I'm onto my elbows. All I'm doing is, because this raised platform's here, it's allowing me to really go further than what the ground will let me. People with fairly decent overhead mobility on that last stretch we've done, you probably found that the ground started to get in the way eventually, as in you couldn't really get the arms much lower, you couldn't get the chest much lower, sorry, the head much lower. So with this now, we're going to put our elbows on the edge, on the ledge, and you can see I've got my mat quite far away, because I want to get, the further away I get my knees from the bench, the more weight, the more gravity goes into this stretch. It's simple, it's the same idea, but look at my position before you rush off. So I've got my elbows on the ledge of my bench, but then it's the triceps that eventually sit on the edge. Look at my hands. They're not straight, they're above my head, which is going to help lengthen out my triceps and get a better stretch all round in at those lats. With this position here, my head can go lower than my arms, and my chest can go a lot lower. The ground's not in the way anymore. And what I also have to my advantage now is a lot of weight on these arms, so I can get a hell of a damn good stretch here. So simply settle into it, feel the stretch kick in. Now, I can tell you now, already for me, this is pretty uncomfortable. You can get a good bit of weight into the arms, you can get a damn good stretch, it's not pleasant. So please try to relax, and this is a good example of where you just focus on your breathing. It'll help take your mind off it a little bit, but it will help you relax further into it. So don't be resting your forehead on the bench or whatever you're using. You should feel that gravity's pulling you down. And the longer you hold this stretch, the more you relax, the more uncomfortable it will probably become, the better stretch it will become. So keep trying to enhance it, always making sure you're in the best position you can be. Good. And when you're ready, come out of that slowly and equally. Okay, so come out of it equally. So don't just roll off and put all that stress onto a shoulder joint, okay? Right, take a breather. Get a sip of water if you need one, and we'll move on to the next exercise. Stretching could be just as brutal as we're foam rolling. But again, it depends. It's like anything, some of these movements will affect some people more than others. It just depends where you're tight and where you're lacking flexibility, mobility, etc. But I feel I can confidently say for everyone we've done so far up to this point, most people probably feel that there's a lot of tightness because it's a common area that needs a lot of work continually. Right. I don't know if that's coming across on the microphone, but oh my word. I can just see it, like everything's just going to blow and I'm still going to be sat here trying to hold the class together while there's cows and sheep blowing past me and everything. Right, okay, we're getting into the, what's its names, right? We're getting into the forearms. So with this one, again, familiar for many, maybe new to some. All I'm doing here, first of all, is look at my fingertips. They're pointing directly backwards. Okay, so from here, hands, doesn't really matter, roughly shoulder width apart will do. Fingertips pointing directly backwards. Get your palm planted flat on the ground first, before you then start to move back. Okay, now how far you move back depends on how tight things are. Okay, now this isn't pleasant, but what you're trying to do is use, if you look at my body now, use your body to sit back so that you don't have to hold a stress position as such. So you can just use, again, gravity and a bit of leverage to get a good stretch here. So we're trying not to let the palms lift off. So straight away, for a lot of people, well, not for a lot of people, I'm pretty damn sure everyone will be feeling this. This will be running up the front of your forearms, okay? Again, a lot of tightness. We got a lot of restriction in the wrist. Gripping heavy things all day long, lifting heavy weights, sitting, typing in a restricted position. Okay, it can all put a lot of stress into these forearms. We don't stretch the forearms out very often, and when we do, you usually find there's a hell of a lot of tightness. Okay, if those forearms are so jammed up tight, that's going to start pulling into your joints, okay? You're going to start getting more stress on the elbow, shall we say, and the wrist. And I think we all maybe remember back to when we smashed these with a ball and how awful it was. Your forearms take a lot of abuse, but we don't really put the same time in. We don't really appreciate the arms the way we appreciate the legs. We spend a lot of time with the legs, foam rolling, stretching, but without sounding daft. The arms are the legs of the upper body. So we're taking this further and further and further, okay? Further and further. It's not comfortable. It's not meant to be. Tell yourself that and accept it. We should not be having these palms off the ground, okay? I'm seeing some palms off the ground. Yep, if that's you, sort it out. Good. So it's just static. This is just static stretching. We're holding the position, holding the fort, taking it further, taking it further, taking it further. Good. Slowly. Slowly, and again, equally, start easing out. And when I say slowly, you're probably going to find that it's not very nice when you start coming out of this one. We've restricted the blood flow big time, okay? Ah, your arms almost feel dead. Squeeze, yep. Ah! Pump the hands, shake the arms, do some rotations until that pain subsides. That pain, again, is just, you've just restricted blood flow. Doesn't feel too nice. You've put a lot of strain on the muscles themselves. So just let everything regulate. Shake the arms out. Good. While we're at it, why not? Let's do it the other way, okay? Now, this is one that's going to feel very uncomfortable to some people, but I want you to do it. I want you to bear with me. So we're going to go the opposite way now, okay? I want you to go to top of the hand. Top of the hands on the ground, palms facing fingertips facing each other. It's better if you just look. You can see exactly what I'm doing here, okay? And now all I want you to do is just come up and try and straighten out your elbows. And when you do this movement correctly, you'll feel it on the top of your forearms now, okay? So you're not trying to do a press up, okay? People will be like, oh no, that one's no for me. I'm going to hurt my wrists. You're not trying to do a press up on them, okay? I'm trying to put my hands flat on the ground, the same way, but the opposite side of my hand as I've done before. And all I'm going to do now is try to lock my elbows out, but keep the whole hand flat on the ground. If you do that, you don't need to put a lot of weight on your hand in the first place. So if you have got weak wrists, you're not going to hurt them here unless you decide to try and put a lot of weight on them. So I'm trying to force my elbows to lock out, okay? And that's what's going to address the tightness here. So it's not a case of leverage now. It's not a case of leaning back. It's a case of trying. Lock those elbows out, and you should feel the stretch running up the top of your forearm. Yep, we feeling that? Just think about it. Lock the elbows out. Yep, there we go, good. So you're not trying to put a tremendous amount of weight on your wrists. So if you have got dodgy wrists, there's no need for you to hurt yourself doing this one. Yep. Yes, that's what you can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? Yeah, you can. Look. Oh, what?
Sorry, I missed what you did because my battery was going. I had to go and get an extension.
Oh, it was your battery. Well, that is inexcusable. At first I thought it was your broadband. See, now I'm going to have to come out of my stretch, so therefore my stretch is now compromised. There we go, just for you. Just for you and your bad admin. Right, let's go. So I'm going to get the top. All I'm doing is putting the top of my hand on the ground. Fingertips facing each other. You need to put them on the ground. That's why. There we go. Just for you, eh? Just for you. Fingertips pointing each other. I'm on the top of my hand. Now, you don't put a lot of weight on this one. You do not need, yeah, that's right, hit the mute button. You do not need to put a lot of weight on your arm. The purpose of this is you're trying to lock the elbows out, and when you try to lock the elbows out, you'll feel the stretch running up here. You're going to keep holding that. Everybody else, we're going to move on. Okay, so catch your breath, shake out, and that, everybody, concludes to some degree the upper body. Okay, now we're going to start moving to more hip and midsection area. So grab a drink. Upper body is done. We're moving on to the core. You're going to need your resistance band. The thicker, the better. Okay, but if you don't have one, you use a towel. Okay, you use a towel. So we're going to work on the lower back, but this movement, it's what I would like to call more, I would refer to it more as a mobility drill. It's not just the lower back that's going to be getting addressed on this one. It's a spinal twist, okay? It's a banded spinal twist. So it's that one where we're getting to some degree the legs, the glutes, the hip. We're getting into the lower back. We're getting the obliques. We're getting the ribs. We're getting the chest. This is a full body kind of mobility drill, but it's very beneficial for your lower back because it's going to attack a lot of the muscles that might be tight, that's pulling on your lower back, rather than just do a lower back stretch. Those other muscles are still tight, so the tight lower back comes back again. Does that make sense? Right, okay, maybe it doesn't, but it does to me. We're hooking the band, just like we were doing, as if we were doing a hamstring stretch. Okay, I'm hooking the band around the ball of my foot, and then all I'm going to do is lie back. Okay, now from here, pay attention. I'm doing my right leg, so I'm going to take my right leg and put it across my body to the ground away from you. Then I'm going to grab a hold of the resistance band with the left hand because I'm doing my right leg, so I'm grabbing the resistance band with my left hand, so obviously reverse that. Now when you grab the resistance band, grab it with a good bit of tension, okay? Don't just grab it and the band be soft. You want to feel that there's a good bit of tension on it. Now you're going to keep the leg locked out and the knee locked out, and as a result, you're going to feel a stretch sweeping across your leg into your glutes, okay? From here, I'm going to take my right arm, the same arm as I'm doing my leg, and twist across and away, okay? So it's a banded spinal twist because that's exactly what we're doing. Again, it's familiar to many, but if you're not sure, hopefully that explanation helped. Once you get into this position, fine tune it, okay? Take a bit more tension up on the resistance band if you need it. You should feel like you're really pulling those toes towards you. I want you to feel like your knees locked out. Then from here, think about your hip, your glutes. Those muscles, get them relaxed. Make them feel heavy. Let gravity pull you and sink you into the ground. And then this upper body, you're trying to twist to get the opposite shoulder blade pinned to the ground. Okay, and then from here, for some people, this will be a hell of a stress position, in which case I would say to you, focus on your breathing, try to relax. If it isn't too much of a stress position, just the same, try to relax, but also fine tune it. Okay, if you're managing to achieve it the way I am, take your leg a wee bit higher, lock it out, pin it to the ground more, take up more resistance in that resistance band, greater pull, really focus on that twist. So what we're getting, as you'll feel here, well, to be fair, that's wrong. We're attacking multiple muscle groups, but where you feel it is specific to you and where it's tight. This is a great drill for lower back mobility, okay? Because we're attacking all the muscles that may be responsible for that lower back going into overtime, working overtime, getting tight. So you'll feel it. We're really hitting the glutes and the hip capsule. We're getting into those big, thick QL muscles in the lower back. We're getting into the obliques. And then by having this twist of the upper body as well, we're getting the chest and the shoulders smashed out also, and to some degree, the biceps and the forearms. But again, that depends how tight things are. So try to think about it. If it's not too bad, you have to make it better. Try to be proactive, right? This stretch feels all right. How can I make it worse without sounding ridiculous? How can I make it a bit better? How can I make it more effective? How can I make it worse in the sense of more discomfort, not worse as in a bad stretch? I want you to slowly ease out of this one, everyone. Okay, boom. So those of you with a real tight lower back, you'll probably feel it better. Okay, you'll probably feel it. I don't know if you can hear me with that rattling. Change legs. This is crazy. Right. Can you hear that rabble going on in there? You hear all the door and everything? Jeez, oh, it's crazy. Right. Thank goodness you can't hear it. Right, so all I'm going to do here now is same again. Okay, now I'm doing my left leg. So if you're doing your right leg, it's opposite to what I'm telling you. So I've got that leg up. I'm folding it over my body, and before I even think about adding that twist, I'm going to get things right here first. So with the resistance band, you can see this side now. I'm taking up a good pull on the band. I should feel like I'm pulling my toes towards me. Knees locked out, so straight away, most people are going to feel a hell of a stretch here. That's what you're trying to achieve first and foremost. Then, and only then, do you take the upper arm, take your arm and twist across. When you twist across, make sure you don't start bending your knee, everybody. Make sure you do not start bending your knee. So knees locked out, my foot's pinned to the ground. I'm trying to get that shoulder blade onto the ground. Arm nice and straight, neck, head looking away from my leg. From here, try to relax, focus on your breathing. Try to enhance the stretch any way you can. But for most people, if it's that uncomfortable, focus on your deep breathing. Try to relax all the muscles that are feeling like they're tensed up. Best way to do that is just imagine you're sinking into the ground. Gravity's relax, relax, relax. Gravity's pulling you down. Right, boom, you've just done that stretch. For a lot of people, it feels pretty specific to you, as in, if you've got real tight lower back, you probably felt that as a good one. If your lower back isn't so tight, you might have felt other areas pretty damn tight, okay? But anyway, what is he talking about? Who knows? We're getting into the next one. Now we are going to do an isolated lower back stretch. So all I'm going to do here is I'm lying flat on my back. I want you to, as always, don't rush into this because people get excited. Look at you, you're all in the position already. See, you need to listen. Listen to me first. What we're not doing is just grabbing the feet here because we're not going to get a very good pull and you're going to put a lot of strain on your arms to try and do so. So these arms are going to get tired. So what I want you to do is try to bear hug. Get up, get your forearms and lock off, holding your wrist like so. Okay, so that's going nowhere. From here, I'm lying back and all I want you to try and do, how tight things are is, again, specific to you. But what, right, you can get into the movement now. Okay, let's go, let's go. So from here, I'm doing two things, okay? I'm trying to pull my knees in as hard as I can, and then I'm thinking about my tailbone. Think about your tailbone. I want you to imagine that is just slowly sinking towards the ground here. So get yourself in a nice, chilled, relaxed position, and just focus on that exact thing. Pull the knees in, and just try to imagine that your tailbone is relaxing and sinking towards the ground. So this is an important stretch because we lose, I've explained before, those big QL muscles especially get jammed up tight. Remember when we foam roll them, sometimes they feel like bone, they're that thick and tight. They get jammed up that tight that our lower part of our spine, okay, that we're stretching out now, loses the ability to flex and extend. So it becomes pretty jammed, it becomes pretty ironed up tight. So to address that, it's a damn good way to do it. Now as you're lying there, make sure you're lying back and you're balanced evenly. Does that make sense? Make sure you're lying, balanced. Don't roll off to the side, because if you're leaning on one side more than the other, you're going to be stretching one side more than the other, okay? Now, yep, your spine's going to be exposed, so if you're on a hard floor, it's going to be horrible. So you should have a decent bit of cushioning or mat underneath your body to get this one in. And just like any other, we're trying to take it further and further and further. Relax more and more and more. And you should feel this, for most people, in the lower back, okay? So it'll be your lower back feeling it. Now remember, we're jamming up tight. Think about what's getting restricted here. Those hip flexor area, that hip flexor area is getting jammed up and compressed. So see when you come out of this, it's going to feel like, you know, not very comfortable in that area. Two more big deep breaths while holding the stretch and then slowly come out of it. So, and what you'll find is when you take that deep breath out, you enhance the stretch a little bit more by emptying those lungs. Something just blew past the window and it looked pretty damn big. Don't know what it was. Right. Slowly come out of that one. Okay, and just like I said before, you'll probably feel your hip flexors a wee bit uncomfortable. Okay. So there we have it. That's upper body done, including the lower back. Okay, now that's us done the lower back specifically, but we're going to be working on the hips now. So we're going to be working on the glutes, the hip flexors, the hamstrings. Again, big muscles that when they're tight, where are they going to start pulling on? Down, up, yep. You're going to affect your lower back also. So a lot of the time we just address one area when in actual fact, problem areas are elsewhere. Right, as always, catch a breath, catch a wee drink in between. Now, get your couch, get your sofa, double up your mat if you need to. We're getting into our good old couch stretch. So we're going to be attacking the hip flexors, a very familiar stretch. This one never changes because it's a damn good and effective stretch and there's no need for it to change. So all I'm going to be doing here is simply, if you know this one, folks, come on. We're getting the foot raised, okay? Now, you can see what I've done there. Okay, I'm using the bench to prop up my leg. A wall works better than my bench, okay? Now, most of these are in a house, and most of these have walls in your house, otherwise it's not a house. Then you can use the wall, okay? So a lot of people look for something complicated. A wall will work better than this, okay? Anything, a couch, a sofa, it's called a couch stretch because the couch is the ideal place that you can do it in, okay? Put a cushion underneath your knee. Make sure that you've got a decent bit of cushioning. You'll know you haven't because it'll feel uncomfortable on your knee if you don't. From here, all I'm trying to do is get in a nice balanced position. Try to get my pelvis, before you get into this stretch, try to get your pelvis balanced. So as I look at you now, square on as in facing you, this would be me not my pelvis balanced, okay? I'm exaggerating it, but you can see, okay, pelvis is sitting like this. You can see where I'm grabbing the top of my pelvis. It's sitting at a corner kick. I want that pelvis nice and balanced and level, okay, before I get into this. So I'm here. I've established that nice balanced position. Now I'm going to imagine that I'm at the top of a glute bridge and I'm going to push through with my butt. And then I'm going to slowly lift up my upper body while continuing to push through with my butt, okay? So I'm squeezing through like I'm at the top of a glute bridge, feeling this area, starting to open up this area here. Now, I say it every time we do it. The reason we're pushing through with the butt is so that you don't put your back into overextension. So when I'm doing this, I always just sit with the back of my palm on, sitting resting on my lower back, okay? I encourage you to do the same. Put that arm and just sit it at the bottom of your lower back, okay? And straight away, if you do overextend, you'll feel it. You'll start to feel your back caving in. That's overextension. We're putting stress on the spine, which shouldn't be. So I just sit it there and I'm pushing through with my butt as hard as I can, as far as I can, taking the stretch further and further, and as a result, my body will start to become more vertical. How tight you are will dictate how you look. You might be like this, feeling a hell of a stretch, and you feel that if you go any further, you just put yourself into overextension. So that's what I would say, don't go any further. You must continue to try and push that pelvis through, and through. Get in the best position you can, okay? And this is one of those stretches that you don't have gravity on your side, okay? Just like when we do the quads, you have to think about taking it further. How do we take it further? Squeeze the butt through. You have to do that continuously for this stretch. It's so easy just to go relax a bit and just kind of half-heartedly hold a position. You need to be taking it further, and it is pretty uncomfortable. So hip flexors, again, these hip flexors are tight. They're going to pull your pelvis into a tilt, which is going to put your lower back into overextension when you're in an arrested state, especially when you're standing or moving around. So as a result, you're putting a tremendous amount of strain on your lumbar spine and lower back. So if those hip flexors are tight, you really need to be getting them stretched out. And most of us will feel tightness, okay? If you exercise a lot and you spend any time sat down, your hip flexors will be tight. So it applies to most of us anyway, at least. Good, and I want you to ease out of this one. Okay, get out of it. And then change legs as quick and as soon as you can. Now remember, we're propping the foot up on the wall, couch, bed, sofa, whatever you're using. But the purpose of that is you're trying to get the knee as close to that surface also. So you're trying to get your calf pretty vertical. But it kind of defeats the purpose if you've got your foot raised. If you look at your shin right now, if you look at your lower leg, if it's sitting at 45 degrees, you're defeating the purpose here. You're trying to get it as vertical as you can. So your shin bone should be as vertical as you possibly can. Okay, I get that leg across like I'm doing a lunge, and before I commit to the stretch, okay, I'm just going to maneuver myself into the best position I can to get that pelvis balanced, okay? So it's not sitting at a tilt. Imagine your pelvis filled up with water, okay, and you're trying not to let any spill out at the top. Think of it as a big bowl, okay? It's full of water and you're trying not to let any pour out the side because it's sitting at a tilt. I keep it level, I push through, I push through, I push through with the butt, okay? And then I take it. How far do I take it? I take it to the point in which I feel that I'm pushing through with my butt, but if I go any further, I'm going to just start leaning back, okay? Again, putting myself into overextension, so I don't go further than that point. So that's my starting point. I'm continually pushing through, trying to stretch out this area here, iron out the crease, lock out the hips. So it's a very important stretch, this one. The hip flexors get forgotten about because, again, a lot of us get discomfort and pain and tightness in the back of us. So a lot of us don't ever think to go around to the front where we're not feeling the pain and discomfort, even though that could be a big contributor as to why things round the back are causing us jip. So if your hip flexors are feeling tight, keep on top of them. Push through, and push through. Keep thinking about it. Keep proactively thinking about it. It's not really a hold. You certainly aren't chilling out. You can't just let gravity work you on this one. You have to do the work manually. Push through with that butt. Try to enhance the stretch. Really try to lock those hips out. Think of when you're doing a kettlebell swing and I'm telling you to squeeze the butt to get that hip snap. That's what you're trying to do here. Okay, you're trying to lock the hips out, squeeze through tight. Good work. Last little bit, push through, get it done, take it as far as you can. Don't overextend the lower back. And then slowly and safely come out of that one. Good work. Right, next up, our old favourite. Mat out. You know it's coming, get it done. But of course, yep, you're going to find this easy because it's been a weakness of yours, or if it has been a weakness of yours, you've been working hard since we last discussed it, haven't you? You've been doing it every day because you know that if you put in the work and attack your weaknesses, those weaknesses won't always be your weaknesses. You'll get better at them, you'll do them better. Okay, so I don't expect any moaning or any, horrible gestures getting tossed off at the lens here. Arm out, yeah, I'm talking to you. Arm out, not your arm, your leg. Get your leg out, 90 degrees. This mat here is for my back leg, not my front, okay? So it's a bit too far forward, to be fair. So leg out, 90 degrees. All I'm doing with this leg is throwing it straight behind me, okay, like so. So what we're doing, we're good old favourite, okay? Pretty uncomfortable for most. Now, I just get straight into this without over-explaining it. I do apologise. So see if you're new to this, listen in. I've got that leg at 90 degrees. I want you to put your hand in front of your knee and pin the other hand onto the foot. Purpose for that is, as I get up, what I don't want to happen is my knee to start coming forward or that foot to slide back. I've exaggerated the problem, okay, by showing you this, but We don't want this to happen to any degree. So I stop that happening. I combat that by grabbing a hold of my foot, getting up, and before I get a chance to let that knee slide forward, pin that hand in front of the foot, and then that back leg, I'm just simply trying to straight out behind me. Okay, the knee is on the ground, the foot is on the ground. I'm not levitating or doing any sort of crazy movements. And all I'm doing here is trying to push down, directly down into that hip. Okay, now you're going to feel this in the glutes. It's a nasty one for most people. Okay, now we shouldn't be getting pain in the knee. If you're getting pain in the knee, ease out of it. Okay. This is a tough one. For most people, this is a tough one. But what I want you to do is suck it up and focus on your breathing. Think about where's tight. It's your hip, your butt, okay? That sort of area. That's where we're getting all the tightness. You have to focus on relaxing. You have to focus on relaxing that muscle tissue. If it's that bad, you'll feel it fighting it. You'll feel it, think about it. Get your mind and zone it in on that area that you're stretching out. Think about the individual muscles. Relax. Takes a wee bit of thought, but if you concentrate your mind onto that area, it certainly helps. Then the next stage, if you're able to, you can get down onto the elbows, which will open up the stretch even more and let you get more weight into it. But if you do drop to the elbows, make sure you don't let this foot start to slip back, okay? We're holding this position. So if you get down onto the elbows, you're getting down onto them and it's just letting you enhance the stretch. If you get down onto the elbows and the stretch goes to pot, get back up. You do not have to go onto the elbows, but if you're able to, I encourage that you do so. Same again though, focus on relaxing, focus on taking it further, let gravity pull you down and sink you into the ground in a relaxed state. Focus on your breathing. Good. I want you to slowly begin easing out of that one safely. Same way you went into it, okay? If you need to stand up and shake out, by all means do so. But we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into the next side. Okay, so same again, and it's perfectly normal, everyone, to feel tighter in one side than the other. Well, it's not normal. Say it's normal, because I feel it. Right. Pin the foot, get up first, hand where the knee's going to be planted in front. Okay, and establish the stretch, and then from here, you can see that, you can see my, well, maybe you can't see my back leg, it's here. Okay, I want to have it behind me. So, but first of all, I'm trying to establish this good position with the front leg, and then get that back leg behind you without letting that front leg move position. Establish the stretch, and just like anything, build on it. So now I've got the stretch, it feels pretty uncomfortable. Now I need to focus on trying to relax it as best I can. Then once I've achieved that, try to take it further and further and further. You know the drill. Okay, you can go into the elbows anytime you want, or if you're able to, or if you're not able to, it's your stretch. Do what you can with it to make it better. Good. And the same again, slowly, slowly ease out of that one. Good work. And if you need to shake out, shake out. Right, we're going to conclude this morning with our banded hamstring stretch. So you're going to need your band again or your towel. And if you've got multiple bands, big, thick, powerful muscle group, okay, so you're going to need the thicker band. If you've only got a thin band, that's okay, okay. You can double it up or triple it up, but just be careful that you're not putting too much tension on the band for what it's made for. Pretty simple stretch, okay. Get the band, hook it around the ball of the foot. Make sure it's secure, as in it's not going to ping off and slide down the toes. Before you get into this, okay, the purpose and why we're trying to pull the band in the first place is to help pull the toes towards your shin. So we shouldn't be fighting this band. You should feel that that band's pulling a relaxed foot, okay? It's a pulling that relaxed foot. That's also going to help pull everything down and put a bit of tension into the hip as well and try and reset our joint a little bit. So it doesn't work if you're just going like this and you're pushing against the band and fighting it, okay? Think about the purpose. Purpose of the band is to pull the foot towards us in a relaxed state. Start off in an easier position where you kind of feel the stretch starting to kick in. Set yourself up perfectly right. Look, is my knee locked out? Yes, it is. Okay, now as I move back, now I feel a hell of a stretch. That's my starting position. Okay, now I want you to build on it. So I'm lying back. I've got a really good bit of tension on this band. This is where the thicker band helps. Focus on your breathing, take it further. You're trying to take it as far as you can. It's going to feel pretty damn uncomfortable, but make sure when you're taking it further that you don't start bending the knee. So it's a simple stretch, this one, a very effective one, and I would be confident in saying you can probably go further than you are with it. So just keep trying to take it further and further and further. Yes, it's going to get uncomfortable, but you'll be fine. Just keep trying to pull that straight leg further back. Keep trying to take it further. Refine the position. Good. Right, slowly, slowly, slowly sit back up out of that one. And then it's a simple matter of hooking it around the other leg. Making sure it's not going to slide off. Okay, it's round the ball of the foot. It's not round the bridge, it's round the ball of the foot, because if it's round the bridge, you're not going to be able to pull the foot towards you very well. So it's a nice balance. We've pretty much got it on the ball of the foot, where it's secure. It's not going to slide onto my toes, but it's still letting me pull that foot towards me. So same again, set yourself up first. Okay, just before the real tightness kicks in, stop short of where you're going to be going. Okay, and just adjust. Get yourself in the best position. Right, my foot's relaxed, my knee's locked out, and now I'm just going to start the process of trying to get that leg and lift it further back, pull it further back, should we say. Don't fight the resistance band. Don't let the knee bend. And it's down to you to get the best out of this. Stay relaxed, take it further, focus on your breathing. Last little bit, take it as far as you can. Good, and then slowly everybody, same again, ease out of that one. Great work. Right, I know we're shooting over time a wee bit, but it wouldn't feel right if we don't conclude this with our kneeling groin stretch, okay? Because then that hits everything. That's everything around the hips smashed as well, which makes this a pretty damn fulfilling flexibility class, okay? So to finish up the hip area, we're doing the kneeling groin stretch, okay? Simple. Knees as wide apart as you can handle. From here, all I'm trying to do is push my tailbone back, okay? And I'll show you from the sides. That's how it looks from the front. You're familiar with it, okay? But remember what I keep telling you every time we do this. It's only an effective stretch if you're trying to put yourself into the correct position. So all I'm doing here is I'm trying to go back, 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 back. Imagine there's a wall behind me, which for most people there is, and you're trying to touch it with your tailbone, not your butt. Think your tailbone. Hit it back straight. Okay, because what will happen is if you go back, 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 back and things start to get tight, your pelvis will start being pulled towards the ground, and all you're doing there is giving into the stretch. You're not enhancing it anymore. So get that nice tabletop position like you're in an elbow plank and just simply push back with those wide knees until you feel a stretch deep in the groin, and then it's simple. You're trying to take it further. You're trying to enhance that stretch, but I want you to think about the pelvis, okay? And if you're not quite sure, try and lift it up a bit. Okay, so if you're not sure if it's tilting or not, because we don't always feel it, try to lift your pelvis up a little bit, okay, off the ground, and you'll feel the stretch enhance all the more. And if you really feel it enhance, then you're probably letting it curve towards the ground. Okay, so what you do with your upper body is up to you. Okay, what you want to try and make it feel like you've got more weight on your knees, and your arms are just there. There's not a lot of weight on them at all. Okay, we're pushing back. We're pushing back. Now your feet, make sure you're not on your tiptoes. Make sure you've more got your foot flat, if that makes sense. So again, you can see mine. I'm not up on my tiptoes. And just like the hamstring stretch, you take it to that point, it feels pretty uncomfortable. And for the next 60 seconds now, I want you to try and take it further and further and further. So focus on your breathing. Keep trying to lift that pelvis up as you push back. Do not ease in and out. Do not come out of it. Keep going further and further and further. It's going to get more uncomfortable, but you can do it. And while we're holding this, we'll conclude. Okay, so we've done, to some degree, full body flexibility. Of course, we haven't done the exact full body. We couldn't possibly fit it into an hour. Well, we could, but we'd compromise what we were doing before. So what we've really worked on is upper body, into the core, including the lower back area, and into the hips and downwards, okay? So we've attacked all the main areas that may cause us problems, just picking up the flexibility side of things to work nicely alongside the mobility work that we do. Because we attack mobility and flexibility different, as you now know. So we need both. We need both in our training regime. We need both the flexibility work and the mobility work, because they work hand in hand. But the methods, of course, are different. So there may be one area specifically out of this morning. You can slowly ease out of it, or you can keep holding it. It's up to you, but we are done here. As with any class, when we're doing full body, there may be a specific area that was very relevant to you that you found you really struggled with or was causing you a lot of problems. Or you get into it and you go, oh my word, I need to work on this. Okay, that's the mentality I'm trying to get you to adopt when it comes to mobility and flexibility. Because a lot of the times the movements, etc., or the mobility drills that people struggle with are the ones they just go, nap, not doing it, I can't do it, it's too hard. Okay, when in actual fact, if you get to any of these movements or stretches and you struggle with them, look at it as there's work to be done. Okay, because chances are it's probably a contributor to either a future injury or niggle, or is already causing you jip. Okay, so don't shy away from it. The more you do it, the better you get. It might not be the most graceful or pleasant position to be in, but if you keep doing it and keep holding it, you will get better at it. Right, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.